Okay, I'd like to show you how homework works in my class. This will be kind of awkward and it's a clumsy setup, and it's also a little embarrassing for me because I got to show you the space where I'm working, but it's our reality, so I'm going to do my best. So as you can see on my shared screen, in every unit, so if you go to your units view, you can select any unit. Right now we're in unit 1. And you've got some assignments ahead, 1.1, 1.2, and 1.3. You should see those on your end of Neo by now. You can go to the Unit 1 materials. This would be for any unit the same. And at the very top, you can either print so that you can write or highlight, or download, or keep going back to a digital version. You're going to need the study guide. And eventually you'll need the reading packet as well. I want to show you that study guide first. Here's the study guide. I believe it looks similar to you. You may not have the same editing privileges that I have, but I think it looks about the same. And you'll see that this is the information you're going to need to survive Unit 1. The chapters are listed here. And it's kind of a big document with some numbered questions, underlined words, and at the end, some instructions for how to organize your paper, how to do the vocab and the study goals, and then how the document is broken up into assignments. I want to show you in my workspace what it looks like when you do homework. Okay. This is the part where I warned you this would be a little embarrassing. I do my teaching from my man cave. So on this screen, you can see one of my normal hobbies. I make fishing rods. See, these are all fishing rods, and this is stuff that I do. My workbench is a little cluttered, so I would not otherwise have made you see this, but I want you to focus on this stuff, which is what you're going to need to do homework. Okay, you can see I have the textbook, should be the same as you. I have a study guide, I've printed mine, I have a printer at home. You could have an iPad here. I guess you could put your phone on there and then just get it on a device. But you'll need that study guide, which I showed you on the earlier shared screen. You're gonna need some paper. Always, you would start with the same standard heading. This is true of all assignments in APES. Last name first, period. And I want to do assignment 1.1. You would always put the name of the assignment. So today we're going to do 1.1. At the end of the study guide, I can see that assignment 1.1 is the chapter 1 vocab and study goals, 1 through 10. That chapter 1 vocab does not refer to what your textbook describes as vocab. That's not what I mean. And study goals 1 through 10 are not something numbered 1 through 10 in your book. The chapter 1 vocab is this, where I have labeled the words I want you to know in chapter 1. And study goals 1 through 10 are these, starting with number 1 and going all the way down to 10. Those are the parts of homework assignment 1.1. And I'll show you how this works. This is instructions for you to take notes when you read the corresponding part of your book. So for a chapter, anything underlined is fair game as vocab. You have to know how to use those words. You can see that some words show up underlined in the body of the study goals. And these are instructions for notes you should take. So on my paper, I would first prepare to define some words. Sustainability of resources. I'll leave a little space so that in my book, if I see that word, I'll be ready to go. Then sustainability of ecosystems. Leave a little space so I can define that when I see it. Sustainable growth, sustainable global economy. And I'm going to abbreviate that word because these are my notes. I'm not doing this for anybody else. So I can abbreviate that because I'll remember that that means economy. And then I also need to define megacities. That's what this has told me. So resources, ecosystems, growth, global economy, and megacities. That would be the end of my chapter 1 vocab. These are the words I need to answer separately. So I'm ready now when I see those in my book. And study goal number 1 has no stars. In a normal year, my students would have to do that study goal because they'd have more time to do the assignments. Since you'll be doing those assignments more quickly, I've had to remove content. So I look at what percentage of our time was shed in any given unit, and then I remove a proportional amount of your work time. So number 1 is now enrichment. I think that would be good, but if you're in a hurry and you've got to break some eggs, you can just kind of skip number 1 because that one didn't have any stars there. So I guess I'll pretend I'm busy. Number 2 says, some population facts. Copy and trace a figure. Please mark the changes in human population in the last 50 years. Where have most new humans been born? Okay, that's a lot of stuff. So I think it's time for me to start. I got everything laid out and ready to go. So I'm going to go to the first chapter, and I'll just kind of start skimming it. Learning objectives, whatever. Pacific salmon. I'm interested in salmon, so I would probably have read this. But this didn't tell me I needed to take notes on that. So I guess if I was in a hurry, I could skip that because I wasn't really told to start with the salmon thing. Major themes of environmental science. So I have a hunch that would have been this study goal number 1. But Jose told me to skip that. So I was supposed to look for something about population growth. Ooh, we're getting to the population growth. So now, if I were a student, I would read this more carefully. Dum, da-dum, da-dum. Yeah, I'm reading. This is what it looks like when I read. I swear I'm reading. Okay. Oh, and as I'm reading figure 1.4, I was supposed to copy that. Right? It says copy, trace, or draw figure 1.4. So I'll start my notes with that, I suppose. There was like a little bit of growth in the developing regions, but the majority of growth has been in, these are the developed and these are the developing. You can see that I'm translating this drawing to have the useful stuff from what's in my book. And I guess we're maybe going to be up around 11 billion by the year 2100. And I'll try to add some other details like 2050 and the year 2000 up around 6 billion. So look, this is me copying the graphic from my book. And then it says mark the changes in human population in the last 50 years. So I guess that's like 2020 to 1970. I'm just kind of guesstimating here. That's the last 50. And where have most new humans been born? There we go. I wrote deving because I'll remember that's developing. I kind of know what this topic is, so I'm just going to skip most of that word. But if you didn't know this topic, you might need more. And I kind of got done with that part. Where are food shortages most gnarly? This teacher has horrible language use. And where were recent food riots? And as I go reading, boop, 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 boop. Ooh, yeah, Africa seems to be listed. Food crises, malnutrition seem to be worst in Africa. So I'd say most food shortages in Africa, especially sub-Sahara. And look, I am taking notes on study goal number 2, answering the parts of the question that my stuff was telling me to answer. And I'm taking notes that are useful. You can see that I'll be able to study these later. I could have also just written Africa. That would be the right answer. But without the question there, what do I know about Africa, right? Like, sorry. Like, that's not wrong. It's just useless. Those notes wouldn't do me any good later. My job with the homework as a student is to use these instructions to build notes I can use to study so I don't have to read this giant book. If you want, I can convince you how this helps your brain. The science is overwhelming. It's not a personal opinion. These are facts that we know. When you read something, if you write it down in your own handwriting, you'll remember it much better. Then if you come back and you modify these notes, you'll remember it even better. Then if you review and study these notes, you'll remember it even better. I'm going to stop writing detailed answers so I can just demonstrate a few things for you. So I would keep going. How would you, okay, I guess I got to do that value judgment part. And then I'll be done with number 2, right? I got to the end of number 2. So I can set up now for study goal number 3. Number 3 is something about natural disasters more catastrophic. Disasters more catastrophic. Again, the notes that I'm taking are for my benefit. They're not for anybody else. So they can be kind of sloppy as long as they're useful to me, but they can't be detached info. No detached info. You don't want just the answer. You need the prompt. So I'll skim and it looks like there's some reasons why disasters are more catastrophic. I'm going to continue that explanation. There's all the reasons that disasters are more catastrophic. And then I'm done with study goal number 3. Number 4, what does it mean that we are using resources unsustainably? So for unsustainably, that's a vocab term. Somebody underlined that. So I'm going to remind myself that Jose has said that's fair game for an exam. That's a vocab term. And then now I'm just going to read until somebody says something about unsustainable. Oh, sustainability of ecosystem resources. I was supposed to look out for that. So I can fill in some vocab, right? Because that's what this says. And then here's some more vocab. Here's sustainable growth. Here's the sustainable global economy. Right over here, a little bit further out of the way. So I'm going to do that one. And then keep reading. Oh, unsustainably. So I could define that. This is a note-taking map that guides your note-taking as you go through the book. Oh, hey, megacities. So I can define that word. And I've answered this. Why should we not worry about saving the planet? So I'm going to keep reading until I see something about not saving the planet. Boop-a-doo, boop-a-doo. Oh, there it is. So not saving planet. Instead, saving humans because we need the planet. Okay, that's number 5. I kind of know all these answers. I already know what's in the chapter, but it shouldn't take you all that long. You don't have to make this pretty, but you do have to number, include the prompt, and generate an answer that's acceptable while you read. What does the estimation of the Earth's carrying capacity vary so widely? Wow, that one has 2 stars. That's got to be heads up. Oh, hey, I didn't even need number 5. Number 6, carrying capacity. Can I stop with this copying part? Okay, so there's my prompt. And then as I read, I would answer why that varies so much. I would add more parts of the question or the prompt, and then I'd add more notes. Doesn't have to be pretty. You're not trying to conserve paper here. You're trying to write down everything that looks relevant. You'll see why. So let's imagine I finished number 6. 7, 8, 9, and 10 all have stars. So 7, prompt, notes, 8, prompt, notes. Usually 2 or 3 pages per assignment is standard. 2 or 3 pages per assignment is standard. How to use the precautionary principle, that's a key issue. Number 10, I need to take some words and explain them. I'm almost done, so I'm just going to complete this word. Hey, look, I misspelled it. Who cares? They're my notes. And then as I read, I define that word, I define that word, I define that word, I define that word. And hey, I did 7, 8, 9, and 10. I'm done with this homework assignment. I used my study guide, told me the words to define. If they're in the question, it's fair game. So I'll have to make sure that I underline them here so that I remember that those words are fair game. And then some things I was supposed to take notes on. This one, I guess, I wasn't supposed to take notes on, but I did by accident because I just got carried away. No harm in that. Last year, all the kids had to do all the questions. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's all I had to do. Remembering that the particular words and the particular study goals are identified at the end of the study guide. I would take some pictures of this. I would upload those pictures on Neo. Homework is complete. Also, I have translated about 20 words of the text into about 3 words of my own human-generated content. Because it's in my own writing, I'll remember this about 20 times more accurately than the stuff that somebody printed in a textbook. I can also go back and edit this during class. That almost doubles my ability to remember this content if I come back through and I edit this a second time. Again, I apologize about my cluttered workspace. I apologize about my disgusting hands. I apologize about everything, being home and having to do all this crap across the machine. Yeah, all right. I guess you're done. Remember that all this information is available in the digital form, which you can access through Neo. It's right there. And remember that assignment 1.1 is due whatever day your assignment is due. Likewise, 1.2, 1.3, so on. Thank you for watching my embarrassing film. I'm going to stop.